off, move it around. That's all there is to it.
I'm thinking just about, you might leave that one right in front, but all three of these right here.
Leave that one?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
And then take those?
All three of those. Yeah,
Oh.
Because if he wants to use that road,
Yeah.
we might actually take all three. Well, let's leave the biggest one.
That's that one. Or maybe, no, this is the biggest one.
Yeah, leave that one.
What the hell happened to it? Somebody's bumped it.
Something on the
Whoop,
side.
whoop,
Oh,
whoop, whoop, whoop.
he might have done that with his tractor.
Say good morning.
No way.
Say good afternoon.
So let's take this one.
Oh, big hoss.
Leave that one.
Leave this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. And then take all these other little jokers out of here.
Leave that big guy.
Wow. CMAF's got its work cut out for it today.
I can get those with the little guy.
Yeah, that's what the plan was. So, never use a CMAF head. If we do use it, it's because we're forcing the opportunity. But today, I think it's actually a good choice to use it. Used to be an old road right here back in the 1800s, it looks like. Super overgrown with these little trees. But rather than come through and cut each one of these things out, or if we had the Prime Tech rocking right now, we could just probably mow it all down. But we're gonna use a CMAF today. We just got a new seal for the shaft seal. Just got a new shaft seal put in. Leaked all crap ton of oil at the last job. If you guys are curious, this head right here, $25,000. So not using it really sucks. So let's go ahead and rock and roll with this. You got Boone. Leasha's in my truck now. Well, sideshow activity. I was just walking along, scared the shit out of me. V-belt mulched up a rattlesnake the other day, didn't even know about it. She gone. Well, sharp teeth on that CMAF head. It cuts pretty good, but dare not risk touching the ground with it. So this job started off as this whole area here was all 8-foot tall blackberry bushes. So I dropped off the Rayco, or old V-belt, and he would come down here a little bit after work. We're not far from the house, so he would come down here and knock out an hour or so every once in a while. And then they added all that, thinned that on the upper side of the shop here, and this was an old road. So I'll go through and I take all the trees, top them, and chew up the tops a little bit, and then grind all the way down the whole trunk. This one here, I hope it was on time lapse. Well, you're watching size 10.5. Well, he's got a 14, but check out his Instagram for that joke. But that was a big bird to take down. But all this little stuff, rather than dull the teeth, hit a rock, he can just come through with the Rayco, and because he's just got carbides on it. I'll show you guys the difference, because somebody wanted to know the difference between carbide and DCR and knives. Well, that's a double head carbide right there. Tough stuff. You can hit rocks with that, and it's not really gonna hurt you that much. You don't want to do it all the time, but if you do, it's not that big a deal. But he can come down through here, subsoil, get a little bit of dirt, a little bit of rock, a little bit of rattlesnake. And as for me, with this, even with only like 30 gallon a minute, 70 horsepower or something like that, all the way out to the head, we tuned it down. The CMAF guy turned it up to 3,000-ish, and it wasn't really worth it. So 3,800. Oh well, he turned it up to 3,800, and it was blowing the hoses on the grapple, so that wasn't much fun. So we turned it back down. This thing's supposed to spin at 3,000 RPM, and the new FAE head on the TL12, we got it tuned at 2,400. But you can see these teeth, they're little razor blades, and the DCR depth control rotor. So when I go smashing into a tree, it's like, what do you call it on a chainsaw? I can't even think. Yeah, it's like rakers on a chainsaw. It limits, it's a bite limiter. So it's only gonna take as much, it's about fingertips width. And that thing cuts good. One thing I don't really run into this with the gyro track, same thing with the CMOF stuff, is stuff gets stuck in here. And if you guys don't know much about mulching, these are balanced. They're spinning 3,000 RPM, that should say enough. And if they get those sticks stuck in there, I mean, they're stuck, I need a freaking hammer to get them out. It gets, the head's unbalanced now, and you can feel it in the whole machine with a little stick like that. That's how minute of a mount screws the pooch on the balance. So you'll go ahead and mulch this stuff up and load the machines back up, and I think we're gonna be done with this job, right, Hoss? Done? He's hoping. If you guys wondering about the helmets, people ask why I wear helmets inside the machine. Bluetooth, we can talk to each other. Well, it's a hell of a time to find out the fuel gauge isn't accurate. V-belt's down here on some steep crap, so we came up with this ingenious idea. I'm going to siphon some out of the excavator straight into the Rayco. How about that? Always exciting there. Alright, it's that time. Bad Cherry is loaded up. You have to tilt the head in order to make it fit in here. It would not fit unless I had the tilt option. Your standard CMAF head doesn't come with a tilt. That costs a couple extra bucks more. But man, it is certainly worth it because you can direct where your chips want to go. Dad and I built this in-house. So it doesn't come with the quick attach for the Kubota unless you spend some extra money. Normally it'll just come with the CMAF, and then they want you to pull these out, which is ridiculous because we're switching stuff all the time. We can't just be pulling pins. Quick disconnect is the only way to do it. On the discharge side, there is a hood. So you can really contain your chips. Point them straight down when you tilt the head, and then the discharge out the back. Once you close that, it points it even further straight down. So let's go over here. See this area that he knocked out, and we'll show you this little road that we uncovered. Nice good area down there that was all, you know, pretty good fire danger, all a bunch of blackberries. Same thing with up there. Really trying to knock down the fire danger around here. Old V-belt and my uncle, they put the roof on this building back in the day. A little Rayco, this thing is still got it. It's making stuff happen. It's kind of weird. It hasn't had a mulcher head on it in a long time. Put it on there for that bigger job, and now we've done several other jobs with it. So, but here we go. Check out this road. We hemmed and hawed about leaving a couple trees up here, but then just further we got down in there, we realized that the road was quite a bit bigger because you couldn't see any of this down there before. Went down in here, knocked down some of this stuff, and went down there. Again, I'm not trying to get personal with the dirt. There were cinder blocks right there. I ended up sucking up a fence down there that was in the blackberries. So that's never fun. All this here, hit it all with the CMAF. Cut the top out like I said, and then grind it all the way down. Now I leave it a couple inches high, and he can come through with the Rayco. It takes a couple passes since that thing doesn't have tons of power. But you can see that's the remnants of the stump right there. And there was whole bunches of them. So between that and covering them up with the chips, he's got a nice little quad trail to get down in there. Plus the fire danger has been cut down a whole bunch. Where we started the video, I think Dad and I were talking right here amongst all those trees. I think it took us about three and a half hours. There's faster ways of doing it, but sure there's gonna be some questions. Why don't we use the CMAF more often? And I'll be honest with you, we don't have a lot of call for it. We kind of expected that you could run carbides on it, and they didn't even have a carbide option for that head. So that limits us a bunch. And this is the first job that I've actually done with it that I was like, this was worth spending the money on it. And other than that, if it could run carbides, that'd be cool, but the machine, the power gets sucked out of it pretty good. It's wide open throttle trying to keep the head going, and then it's just short bursts, and you can't lift the boom back up with the head on it. There just isn't enough hydraulic flow. And we had, every time you buy a CMAF, the guy comes out and tunes it to your machine. He cranked the pressure way up, he did this, did that, tuned the, he thought it was running good. Didn't seem too much different to me. And then we ended up blowing a bunch of hydraulic hoses because he just had the pressure just cranked way up. So I turned it back down. But the only way that I would say for that machine to be, well, you can't get up personal with dirt and rocks and stuff. But for instance, this rock over here, I didn't hit it with a CMAF, but V-belt hit it with the carbides on the Rayco. And check out what the carbides will do to a rock. And he just grazed it, but I mean, he took some rock with it. You hit that with the CMAF with those knives on it, it's gonna just take those knives with it. Ain't taking a rock. It's all bad news. So yeah, it's got a certain area that it works good in, and this was freaking perfect for it. I was absolutely having fun doing it today. But this is, it's not a paid advertisement for CMAF. Don't get that confused. But if they wanted to hook me up with or let me try out a power pack for it for a little while, that would be sweet, and I'd be game for that. But anyway, we got to finally use the CMAF on a good job. We're gonna go ahead and head out of here. Just for reference sake, this is 40 gallon a minute at 3,000 psi, something like that, 87 horsepower. The Excavator, it was tuned up to 3,800 at 30 gallons a minute, but only, I forgot the actual numbers, but it was in the 60s horsepower. But throwing that CMAF hat around, it does all right. Anyway, hit them buttons, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Later.